Good afternoon, everybody. This your boy B Mahari here to represent MehariNation Sports Podcast here. Salute to the entire LDBC. Salute to the greater boxing community. Got a lot to discuss about in boxing today, though, man. I'm going to discuss about the Lomachenko situation, though, man. I got a lot of stuff that I'm going to get off my mind about. As you can see in the title today, why is Lomachenko overrated? I'm going to explain to y'all why he is overrated. Understand? Also, we're going to discuss about the Deontay Wilder videos that we saw from Blue Bus Sports TV. Go check out his channel. He's getting ready for the rematch with Luis Ortiz, and he look in shape. He look ready to go. So we're going to discuss about that. We'll also discuss about the Earl Spence Jr. controversy too, and then we're also going to discuss about we're going to discuss about Demetrius Andrade and Jamal Charles going at it, and then we'll also expose about the huge double standard in the boxing media today. And I could already see my brother Act reaching 45, basically laughing his butt off about what I said on the title too. So salute to you, Act Reacher, but I got to get this off my chest today because Lomachenko is overrated. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, all right, and I'm gonna explain to y'all about it. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say about Lomachenko. Okay, Lomachenko is a very good fighter. He would not even be in my conversation if I never thought of him as a good fighter. Okay, but the reason why I say he's an overrated fighter is because the fact is Lomachenko has not faced anybody that is any significant threat to challenge himself. On his potential of quotation marks greatness. Okay, now let me show y'all his most significant victories of his career. So let me check out Mr. Vasil Lomachenko. And by the way, salute to Black Fight Fan TV. He's a huge fan of Lomachenko, but bro, the post he put up when he basically ESPN made a graphic mistake, putting him as a 14-0 fighter. Please, bro, please. That literally made my day. But listen, his most significant wins. Okay, let's see. Uh, Guillermo Rigondeaux, who went up 2 weight classes to fight the man. Jose Linares, Jose Pedraza. Not the most significant victories, to be honest with you, and they're not naturally 135-pound fighters. And then Luke Campbell, are you serious, bro? And then also Nicholas Walters, who was starved out by Bob Arum because he wanted more money, and he came in out of shape, and basically, came in there and just basically was ill prepared, but basically out of shape because he was basically waiting for a payday. That's what it is. Quest X Boxing, my brother, what's going on, man? Let me get you a wrench though, bro. Yeah, go ahead and subscribe to Quest X Boxing. Okay. Uh Samuel S, my Eritrean brother, was good, man. Now listen, Lomachenko, the big weakness of Lomachenko is that he does not like a phone booth type of fight, which means he doesn't like it when when he digs into the trenches and basically make it a more of a war of attrition type of fight. That's what Orlando Salido did in his very second fight as a professional, and he beat the guy. All right, so miss me with the whole notion that he's undefeated, which is completely not true. Denise Wars was going on. So, still, how you doing? Listen, miss me with the whole notion that Lomachenko is undefeated and he's the number one pound for pound fighter in the sport. All right. He has not had any huge significant victories in his career to warrant that status. He's nothing more than an overhyped type of fighter that doesn't deserve any shine unless he beats somebody that is very significant. And I love you, Black Fight fan. I love you. I love the fact you stick with your fighters all the time. That's very commendable of you. But bro, it's getting more and more tougher to defend Lomachenko. You know why? Because the fact is, Lomachenko ain't what you think he is. All right. I think Devin Haney can beat this guy. I think Tefimo Lopez can beat Lomachenko, and I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say that even Tank Davis, even from 130 pounds, can beat Lomachenko at this rate. Okay. Now, if you asked me a year ago, would I give Tank Davis a chance to do so? I would say no. But the fact of the matter is, you know, don't let Black Fight fan hear this. I see you, Denise. That's okay. He knows. He knows. So I'm not too worried about it if he decides to hear this. But that's the point. Lomachenko is a very good fighter. I'm not dismissing that at all. But the fact that that people are keep comparing this guy as like the top pound for pound fighter in the sport is completely atrocious. All right. I don't agree with that at all. He has not had any significant victories into his resume, and he was been basically gifted championship belts. All right. And please tell me that you're gonna say that Lomachenko's biggest victory is with a guy that went up 2 weight classes to face the man, Guillermo Rigondeaux. Get out of here with that, bro. Get out of here with that. So I can't wait till Lomachenko gets ruined. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean it's just ridiculous. If Lomachenko gets destroyed, I'm gonna tell you right now. I hope we don't have to hear this anymore. I'm just disgusted by it. QuestX says if Tank is focused, he bodies Lomachenko. I agree. I do agree. In fact, I think that you know Tank power wise can really give Lomachenko problems. All right. I think that the fact is that Lomachenko is just a type of guy that does not like to fight in the trenches. And if you can get into the trenches and force him away from those angles that he likes to, hit you off of, then you got him beat. The real CJ Dog One says when they start taking off fighters defeats. Did y'all guys see the uh the ESPN graphic when they took away that loss from Lomachenko's record? I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous, though, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and also go ahead and smash the like button too. Go ahead and feel free to smash the like button too. You know what I mean? And for all the new subscribers, though, hit the bell icon to get all the latest notifications when I go live there too. So, real appreciative though, you guys. So here's my point. My point is that Lomachenko is a very good fighter. Does he belong in the pound for pound discussion? Yes. He has his belts, so he belongs in the conversation. But is he the number one pound for pound fighter in the sport? Absolutely not. Okay. I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that even Canelo Alvarez belongs in the top 5 discussion. But the problem I have with the pound for pound discussion is that it's very, very subjective and opinionated because these people rank the pound for pound list based on favoritism and style and basically and on styles and also by fighting basically by records. And I don't like that. I think I avoid doing pound for pound lists at all times because it's very, very subjective. You know what I mean? Yeah, Quest X. I saw your video on it though, bro. I know, I know, man. It's ridiculous how. Listen, I wouldn't hate on Lomachenko this bad if it wasn't for anybody of ESPN and even Mr. Black Fight Fan TV overhyping this guy to what he's not. Okay, you know, and the fact of the matter is, Lomachenko hasn't earned it, man. He hasn't earned those strikes to warrant the top pound for pound discussion. And I will go on a limb. I will even say that Terrence Crawford is the number one pound for pound fighter in the sport. All right. Just like what Samuel L.S. said, my Eritrean brother, he said, pound for pound king is Bud. Loma's number 6. Okay. That's your opinion. But I do agree that Bud is number one pound for pound fighter in the sport. Okay. Listen, if Lomachenko goes in the ring and beats any of the top fighters in 135, which is Devin Haney, who's been wanting to smoke with uh with Lomachenko, okay, and if he could beat Teofimo Lopez, uh, if he could defeat Tank Davis, and you know what, more power to you. I have no problem with that. You know what I mean? Quest X, you absolutely right. He's never unified a division. He never has. So I don't understand why people have him as the number one pound for pound fighter in the sport. Literally doesn't make sense to me. But this is why I believe that to get that Vasyl Lomachenko, listen, eventually he's going to lose against somebody that can match his skill set, but even better. Okay. And When that happens, I hope to God we don't have to talk about this anymore. Because even I'm getting sick and tired of this talk, you know. And it's not about him per se. It's the fact that people overhype this guy to what he's not, and I don't like it. All right, earn your stripes. Fight against the people out there that are elite fighters, and then we could have that discussion. Until then, I don't want to talk about it. So I'm gonna leave it at that because I kind of went over 10 minutes about those two. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Now we're gonna get into the Luis Ortiz and Deontay Wilder, fight that's going to happen in November. I can't wait for it. And salute to Blue Buzz Sports TV. You know what I mean? Great footage of the Deontay Wilder camp. The champ is focused. He's getting ready for his rematch, and he's ready to prove once again why he's the best knockout artist in the heavyweight division. And the fact that Tyson Fury is pulling off this WWE stuff and instead of focusing on his his boxing career really shows how diluted he is and how weak the heavyweight division has become. All right, now Deontay Wilder has been doing a lot of the heavy lifting over the last couple of years. He's fought against the best fighters of the division, while Anthony Joshua has not. And let's be real. Has Tyson Fury faced against any elite fighters other than Wilder? I don't think not. So right now, the Tyson Fury is basically trying to add new fan base to the WWE. You know what I mean? And the fact is, he's not focused on his boxing career, and if he doesn't do that, he's going to get stretched. Trust me when I tell you that Wilder is going to stretch uh uh Fury in the rematch. But let's stay focused here. Okay. Now, we know that Luis Ortiz's Cuban amateur background is basically going to try to, redo some of the mistakes that he was committing in the fight. Okay. Now, the one thing that Luis Ortiz has to be careful of is obviously that right hand. Okay. But he's going to have to do a better job of, moving around in the ring, circling, and using that lead jab to get Wilder off balance. Okay. Now, he's got to make sure that if he when the right hand comes, he's gonna have to smother that right hand and basically counter it. All right, do the same thing that you did in the seventh round, but try to keep on pace with it. But it's not going to be easy because Wilder has a long rangey jab that has really improved over the last couple of years, and his weight's going on very well. QuestX says Wilder looks sharp, and dare I say he looks like he's carrying his weight on better too. Yes, absolutely. Because remember, during the first fight, Wilder was basically coming in sick and lost some weight out of it. Miss Boxing, what's up, sister? How you doing? Good to see you. Now, I think that this time around, if Wilder comes in at 220, 222, 225, that's his perfect weight right there, and he'll be prepared. He'll be prepared to knock uh, Ortiz's head off, and then after that is whatever happens from here. Then we had the rematch between Ruiz and Joshua, and I think that Joshua's head is not on straight in boxing. So this is a very big fight. You know what? I'll tell you this though. Both these fights at the heavyweight division are going to it's going to tell the landscape of where the heavyweight division is going to go. All right. Now, we all know, we all want for Ruiz and Wilder to win because we want to see those two guys fight each other for undisputed. But we do know that the sanctioning bodies and all the other promoters that hate Al Heyman's guts are going to try to do whatever they can to prevent that from happening. So I'm hoping that down the line that we get the fight that we want to see. Okay. And I'll tell you this though too. Wilder looks sharp, he looks loose, he looks focused, and when he gets into that ring on November 20th to 23rd, he's going to be looking in to make a major statement once again and do what he does best, and that is pure maximum destruction. So I can't wait for the rematch. I really think that this rematch is going to be much more competitive than their first fight, but it's going to be better. All right, and I'm certainly going to order the pay-per-view, and a lot of you guys should go out and order the pay-per-view too, We got to go out and support the champ as best as possible. Okay. Now, I'm gonna get into some more details about the rematch and what do I see out of the rematch as we get closer to the fight. Okay. But now we're gonna get into the next subject in hand here. Okay, guys. Now, I and also I almost forgot though too. Rest in peace to Patrick Day too. Um, Patrick Day unfortunately tragically died as a result of injuries sustained from his fight. You know, he fought as hard as he could to recover from his injuries, but they were just too much. So, I just wanted to give my condolences to Patrick Day and his family too, man, because this goes to show you how dangerous the sport of boxing is. Because even the lightest punch can really hurt really hurt the brain. It could hurt any part of the body. And I really hate to see boxers die in the ring. And think about this for a moment too, guys. We had four boxers who died this year. Four. That's an unusually high number. You know what I mean? It's just that it's a very very tragic. It's been a very, you know, it despite the fact how brilliant this year has been for boxing, it's also been on a downer too because of the tragic deaths of those four fighters. But the message is going to be sent loud and clear. Um, the the sport is very dangerous, and people and these fighters need to be respected for what they do in the ring because they spend their entire day. I mean, I should say they spent their entire day and night and their entire lives for staying in shape, perfecting their craft, and training themselves how to use their fists to hurt their opponent. Okay, and we have to recognize, these guys go through the after effects of their fights. Now, I don't wish any physical harm to any fighters whatsoever. Okay, these fighters need to be commended and need to be respected for what they do every single day. And it's and we can't just crap on a fighter all the time just because they don't want to face against each other, face against the. I'm sorry, we don't want to just crap on each other on a fighter because they put their lives on the line every day for the sake of this sport. And so, from from the LDBC and from my channel, rest in peace, Patrick Day. You know what I mean? And God bless him and his family. Okay, so let's go check out the chat real quick. King David II, welcome to the channel, sir. He says, let me show it in the comment. If Andy Ruiz beats AJ in a brutal fashion, he should retire. Mm, that's a long stretch, but I would say that should retire right away. I know that Eddie Hearn would be done with him, but I think that to me, I think that is going to really force AJ to really reevaluate himself and think maybe I'm not as good as I thought it was. I'm just thinking hypothetically, but I think that this is basically do or die for Anthony Joshua. In terms of what the fight represents. Okay. Now, if this were me, if I were his promoter, I would not push for a rematch, for immediate rematch. I would give Joshua a few more tune-up fights, just rebuild his confidence, and then talk about the rematch after that. But it's a very tough thing. But let's go ahead and check out the chat real quick. Okay, QuestX says, "Rip Patty Day, rest in peace." Samuel L says, I got AJ pulling out just a gut feeling." Okay, no problem. Miss Boxer says, "Rip to the young lion, rest in peace." Absolutely. Curtis Anderson, the OG. What's going on, y'all? Hey, listen, go check out Curtis Anderson on Fanon's channel, OG Boxing Talks at 8 p.m. Central Time. Tomorrow morning, you're gonna go in there to check out Fanon International Boxing. Also, Curtis Anderson, Blood Boxing, and KQKC Boxing. They go in there with great boxing content and history history on the sport too. So go ahead and check that out. But yeah, let me go. So now the next thing I want to talk about too is I want to talk to you guys about the whole breakup of Andre Rozier and Danny Jacobs. Now, there have been kind of rumblings about why Rozier decided to break up with that and Danny Jacobs. You know what I mean? E. Woodson, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Now, the one thing I will say too is that, and also we got now 10 people in the building here listening to my channel. Come on, you guys, feel free to smash the like button for me, guys. I really would appreciate it though. It would really mean a lot. And I already see I got one dislike, so don't matter. So anyway, the way I kind of see the whole breakup of Andre Rozier and Danny Jacobs, I felt that to me that Andre Rozier, in my opinion, was getting tired of trying to teach Danny Jacobs the necessary advice to try to help him win big fights. And when you have a fighter that's not willing to listen to his trainer, it really becomes a very difficult situation to, really help the trainer out as best as he can to, you know, give him the proper instruction. In the biggest fights of Danny Jacobs' career against Triple G, against Canelo Alvarez, he had the proper instructions to go in there and basically he gave him the proper instructions of what to do to try to beat his opposition, and he choose to fight his own way. And at some point in time, trainers will try their best to try to implement the advice, but if the fighter's not responding to that advice, then they're not going to waste their time with it. Now, salute to Stormy B Man. He made a great example about this on the Smoke City Mobcast on Wednesday night. It kind of reminds me somewhat of when Riddick Bowe was being trained by Eddie Futch. Now, Eddie Futch originally was basically on basically was going up in age and was really not willing to waste his time on a guy that was undisciplined, lacks motivation, and really was, even though he was skilled, he was the type of guy that just wanted to enjoy life, but wasn't really fully dedicated to the sport. Rock Newman pleaded and begged for Eddie Futch to try to train Riddick Bowe, and you know what I mean. And the fact of the matter is, Riddick Bowe with Eddie Futch really pushed Riddick Bowe to become undisputed champion and defeated Evander Holyfield. But once he won the titles, Riddick Bowe was too overwhelmed with the surroundings of success, and basically, he was consumed by it. He didn't stay disciplined, and he let his weight go out of control. You know what I'm saying? It's really an unfortunate thing because Riddick Bowe could have been one of the great heavyweights in the 90s. He would have been one of probably the best heavyweights in boxing. But because of his lack of discipline and the fact that he didn't take care of himself outside of the ring, he lost the belts. He also threw away the WBC belt when he chose not to fight Lennox Lewis. Then he had the Galata fights, which it ended in low blows. And the first fight was finally the fight that finally convinced Eddie Futch to leave him. But it just kind of goes to show you that, either if it was money issues or just lack of communication, or the chemistry was not, it was kind of breaking down. But I'm gonna side on on Andre Rozier about this whole thing because Danny Jacobs to me, it sounds like the type of guy that he may be nice on the outside, but it can be very bit shady in terms of money or in terms of just not listening to people when the proper instruction needs to be enforced. And to me, in my opinion, this is really going to really hurt Danny Jacobs' career down the line. Now, if he finds a better trainer that he can work well with, then you know what? Best of luck to him. But I think this is going to hurt his career down the line. And to be honest with you, man, I was really supporting Danny Jacobs even through his whole cancer situation. You know, beating out cancer, resuming his boxing career, and I really was hoping that I really put him in a good chance of beating, Triple G and Canelo, but unfortunately to me, he just never he just lacked the ability to listen to his trainers when given the proper instruction. And at the end of the day, you can only do so much as a trainer to the point where you just can't do it anymore. That's kind of like as a basketball coach. You could give all the plays, all the adjustments you want, but if the players are not getting the message loud and clear, then the team's gonna quit give up on you. And that's how I kind of see it. All right. So let's go ahead and check out the chat real quick. Let's see here. All right. David King II says salute Curtis Anderson. E. Wilson says Miss Boxing salute Queen. Curtis Anderson says David II salute fam. E. Wilson said Big Curtis salute my brother. Yes, sir. All right. JMJ, JMJ 2121. What's good, man? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Curtis Anderson says, Miss Boxing salute sister. You know, Miss Boxing says salute king. And Curtis Anderson says JMJ 2121 salute fam. You know what I mean? And E. Worcester says, yeah, really could have had a better career. You know what? He could have had. I'm gonna get to that in a second. E. Woodson also says salute Queen Denise Wars. Yeah, I do agree with you, E. Woodson. I really do that Riddick Bowe should have had a longer career than what it was. But like I said, he didn't discipline himself and he didn't take his career seriously after he won the belts. And his he was so overwhelmed with the surroundings of success. And after that, everything else went downhill. So it's unfortunate, but I'm just tying that story into what is going on with Danny Jacobs. Now, if Danny Jacobs can bounce back and basically show that he can be willing to listen, he'll be willing to be trained, then you know what, he'll be back in the mix. But I don't. But the way the middleweight division looks right now, with Jamal Charlo, in the mix. We got Demetrius Andre in the mix there too. That basically Jamal Charlo wants some work with Demetrius Andre. You know what I mean? It's really going to be a very, very interesting time in the middleweight division, to be honest with you. All right, now I want to get into the. Oh yeah. By the way, I also checked out on ESPN this morning. Um, your favorite UFC hype job fighter, Mr. Conor McGregor, once again is in trouble with the law. So according to a report from TMZ, okay, I checked out this article from TMZ. Okay, so Conor McGregor once again is being charged with a second claim of sexual assault. All right, and yes, he's also vehemently denied those accusations. Okay. Oh wait. Okay. David King II says, "How does today's basketball compare to yesteryear's basketball?" I'll get to that. I'll get to your question in a second. Okay, buddy. Okay. Let me put it like this. Okay, now let me read this. Let me read this article here. It says the UFC star has been accused of sexually assaulting a 20 plus year old woman in her car last week outside of a Dublin pub, and a complaint has been filed with the police there. There, according to the New York Times, citing anonymous law enforcement sources. The paper says the authorities have yet to interview McGregor and yet has to be charged with it as well. McGregor's spokesman tells TMZ that Conor has often been the subject of rumors, adding his clients emphatically denied any reports of accusing him of sexual assault. Okay, now is this kind of shows that you know that Conor McGregor is another rumor of sexual assault, but this has really become another stain on Conor McGregor's reputation. Because listen, at this point right now, Conor McGregor's issues outside of the octagon is not worth the trouble at this point. All right, even though that he's one of the top stars in the UFC right now, he's really not worth the trouble because who wants to deal with that kind of trouble every single day? Okay, who wants to deal with that? You know, the fact of the matter is this: Conor McGregor right now is really not worth the trouble anymore. And if I'm the UFC right now, I would really be considering myself distancing themselves from Conor McGregor because he's really not worth all that trouble. I don't care that if he's a major draw in the UFC. All right, I don't care if he produces money. If he if he if he decided to discipline himself and focus on fighting, then yeah, that's fine. But all this stuff, throwing the dolly at the bus, the racial talking to Khabib, and basically the whole brawl incident after the fight, and then also punching an old man at a bar. I mean, do you want me to go? Do you want me to go all the laundry list of all the things that he's done outside of the octagon? I mean, seriously, this dude is not worth the trouble anymore. And I feel at this point though, man, that the UFC really needs to consider distancing themselves from it. Now, enough of that. Let me get into David King the second's question. How does today's basketball compare to yesteryear's basketball? One word: defense and physicality. Okay, well, I should say two words: defense and physicality, because basketball at this point right now is very soft because the NBA took away the physicalness of the game. All right. And the fact of the matter is this: you're not allowed to touch a guy. You're not even allowed to play, physical man to man defense. Okay. You can't even hand check a guy. So this is why you're going to see more and more 3-point records being broken almost like every single year. Guys are encouraged to shoot 3-point shots. Even guys that are not even good from 3-point line are taking threes. So the influence of the 3-point line really changed the game because it's 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 taking away the ability of big men using their back to the back basket. There's no mid range jumpers anymore, and it really is. It's a lot of scoring, which is fun for the casual. But as a basketball historian like myself, I hate it. I don't like games that are like always in 100 points every single night. I like a little bit of defense, like around the mid 70s or the upper 80s. Okay, that's because guys can be able to put their hands on each other and play actual defense without calling a foul or a cheap foul every single time. And I hate that. It really disgusts me. So that basically answers that your question. Now, E. Woodson said Jacobs could have changed everything had he beaten Triple Flea. Triple Flea. But yeah, absolutely. Uh, Leonard, Leon Robinson was good, brother. How you doing though, man? But yeah, it could have changed everything, E. Woodson. I do agree with that. Now, the last subject on the board here, and this is actually a bonus thing subject I want to talk about. Okay, here's my take on the whole Earl Spence DUI situation. Okay, now as you guys already know by now, uh, Earl Spence Jr. was released from the hospital, and he's basically was uninjured and unharmed. Thank God for that. Now it's been reported that he's being charged for DWI for driving under the influence. Okay, now the last few days, I've been seeing a lot of coverage about Earl Spence Jr.'s incident and everything that sort. And I'll tell you this right now, they're right in doing so to do that. But my issue is where all the other articles about Sergey Kovalev's history of domestic violence, constantly beating on women every single time. All right, and Black Fight Fan TV read the entire report about the one of the incidents where he basically beat the woman's dog nearly to death. Okay, now I haven't seen any of the publications of ESPN, Fox Sports, or any of them, reporting on that. All right, we are all listen. Back in 2010, 2011, um, what did the mass media do? They basically crapped all over Floyd Mayweather for his domestic violence history. Okay, but where's the outrage for Sergey Kovalev? Where is the outrage for? Where is the articles? Basically questioning his integrity as a man, basically reporting on his history of basically domestic violence and sexual assault abuse on women. I mean, where's the articles for that? Because this really shows to me a lot of the double standard in the old boxing media. Okay, they'll crap on all the other black fighters of their discretions outside of the ring. But where is the outrage for Sergey Kovalev? Because the guy has been beating on women for years, and he's still getting a paycheck. He's about to fight Canelo Alvarez in a few months, and nobody seems to be outraged about it. It's really really disgusting to me how this is the hallmark of what these people transcribe you know about what they see with Sergey Kovalev, and I'm very outraged by it. And I already posted on Twitter to ESPN where is the Sergey Kovalev articles, because this is something that should be reported about it constantly, because this guy is the biggest piece of garbage in boxing. He's a racist. He's basically a hypocrite, and he basically represents everything that is wrong with boxing. Okay, and people crapped on Andre Ward for his inactivity, but he hasn't done anything outside of the ring. All right. And people love to give Sergey Kovalev a pass. Remember, this is the same guy that allowed basically a Russian kid to wear a gorilla shirt to try to make fun of Adonis Stevenson. And also salute Adonis Stevenson too. He's doing very good in his recovery as well. But I find that's very, very ridiculous that nobody is, point out the double standards about Sergey Kovalev. I mean, this is really ridiculous to me. Now, again, I am not defending Earl Spence of what he did. Now, he learned his lesson, and he's going to make sure that never happens again. I believe it. But at the same time, don't try to sit here and pretend that all the other transgressions of Sergey Kovalev doesn't exist. Because I hate to say it, people, they do. It does. It's I find it very disgusting how people can accept that kind of behavior. You know what I mean? And I just have a huge problem with that. Okay, so that's just how I kind of feel about it, though, too. So y'all go ahead and smash the like button, though, guys. It really would appreciate it, though, too, guys. Really, really would do. You know what I mean? You guys really are the best, man. You know. And E. Woodson also said, assaulting women with an alias like Crusher on top of everything. Exactly. Definitely agree, man. This guy is a biggest piece of garbage. You could see it in his face, how he talks. He's like one of those people that doesn't wants to be challenged by women. All right, because apparently it basically weakens his manhood, and I don't like it. All right, no man, listen, no man and no woman should ever put their hands on each other. But then there's a line to be crossed for boxers. Okay, you don't ever use your hands outside outside of the ring for any purpose other than self-defense. All right. So I'm disgusted by it. I don't appreciate it though, and the fact that ESPN is on their lazy butts and they don't report about this is really disgusting to me, and I don't like it. All right. There's one of the reasons why I don't watch debate shows, because debate shows are basically nothing but riddled with double standards all the time. And when they go after one specific black athlete, and they don't go after another athlete that's done 20 times worse, I question that very heavily. And I stay away from those debate shows because there's way too much bias into it. And it just exposes a lot of what their network is and what they represent. All right. So that's how I kind of feel about it, though, guys. Okay. Now, I was supposed to go live last night on Basketball Conversations, but I'm gonna go live tomorrow afternoon. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna discuss over the whole Daryl Morey, LeBron James situation, and we're gonna also have a season review because we're about 3 days away from the start of the regular season. Don Dada, my brother, what's good, man? When are we talking basketball? You know what? We were supposed to go live last night, but I basically got caught up with family stuff. So we're gonna go live tomorrow on Basketball Conversations tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Time. Stay tuned for that, okay, buddy? Yes, sir. He said love of Bill Mahari. Salute, fam. That's right. Yep. Listen, we don't hide for nothing here in this channel, okay? Now, there are times where I sometimes would misspoke my words, but I try to catch myself. But the one thing about this channel is we hold nothing back. All right. I'm not owned by any company. All right. I'm not owned by any network. Anything we talk about is uncut. All right. That is what it is, man. So, but yeah, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central Time, we'll get back into to another episode of Basketball Conversations. Normally is at 9 p.m. on Thursdays, but work was basically kicking my butt. So this time around Sunday, I'm gonna skip watching football. I'm gonna discuss basketball with y'all guys because there's nothing interesting in the NFL, and I hold a bit of a grudge against the NFL for what they did to Colin Kaepernick. So come down here, 3 p.m. Central Time, Basketball Conversations. We're going to discuss about, again, the Daryl Morey situation, Zion Williamson and his health, and how do I see the NBA as the season starts this, I think it's this Wednesday. Actually, this Tuesday, because it starts on October 22nd. So we're about a few days away from the start of the 2019-20 NBA season, so stay tuned for that. But I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap this up for you guys. But I really appreciate all the love and all the support you guys have been giving me. It's really been fun to discuss boxing, though, guys. But next month we got a lot of boxing, and specifically in the heavyweight division. So be prepared for that. And also, rest in peace to Patrick Day and all the other fighters that have died in the ring, though, bro. Just remember, boxing is a great sport, but it's a dangerous sport, and we can have to continue to respect the fighters who put their lives on the line in the ring every day. Make sure to smash the like button on the way out, and I'm see you guys tomorrow for basketball conversation for a makeup episode tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Time. So this has been Abil Mahari, represent MehariNation Sports Podcast on Boxing Talk. Salute to the entire LDBC, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.